Hi everyone, so today we're here in North York in Toronto and we're just about to get started on this modular fourplex plus garden suite. This property, it's a 1950s bungalow, 3-bedroom, has a basement. It's going to be fully torn down. This is an exciting project and we're here with Jacob from Metrosuite, who's actually going to be the contractor who is going to get this built.
What we're doing here is we're knocking down this main house. It's a single family home near Yonge and Steeles. Then we're going to be excavating, putting a basement, and then a prefab, fully modular fourplex, 2 stories on top. And then we're going to do a garden suite in the back. We're taking care of the entire process. So all the utilities will be run on site and the modules will actually come about 90% complete.
It's on a very unique lot. I'd say about 55 frontage and almost 180 deep. So it's a huge lot. We started with acquiring the property and then obtaining approvals. So this included checking for zoning, getting the building permits in place. Overall, I'd say that took 5 months. It's pretty much the same process as you would with a stick build or standard construction. Once it goes into construction, that's where we get the efficiencies. We're going to tear it down, turn it into a fourplex. It's going to be 2 3-bedrooms, 2 2-bedrooms, and then a fully open basement for future value add. You know, if they ever add the possibility for a 6-plex, maybe that's a possibility. And then we have a garden suite that will be one of the Metrosuite 2-bedroom units. So it's going to be a great multiplex family-sized units for fitting into the neighborhood.
Our factory partners are actually manufacturing the modules to a very high level of completion, made in Canada in the GTHA. So the travel time and the risk from factory to site is actually quite minimal, which is really great. All the modules would arrive on site and then we would have a crane. We would shut down the street ahead of the property and we would basically have all the modules put into place.
When they brought this property as an opportunity for us to run some feasibility due diligence, so figuring out what can we do with this land. What we liked about it was it had really good frontage, double size, and then really good depth. So the fact that the lot was huge allowed us a lot of flexibility in terms of design and fitting in a fourplex. What was interesting was we actually could build bigger than we ultimately did because the lot was so huge. We actually would potentially overbuild, right? But again, that allowed us flexibility. We're able to fit 2-bedroom units, 3-bedroom units, a full basement, parking, and a garden suite, which is a lot of space. And things like that you don't see very often, right? Let alone the size of the units, but then also the parking. So in a place like North York, that's very important.
But the property does have a weird jut.
Yeah, it has a weird jog to it. It's like a double-sized lot. Let's pretend it's 2 parcels. This one's very long, and then this one's a little shorter. It's almost like a rectangle with a little notch. We could have built a 3rd level, and then we would have had 2,000 square foot units, and it'd be too big.
We could have built bigger, but we maximized construction costs versus what could be rented out.
So Jacob, when you brought your client to us and you're considering this property, what did they like about it?
It was interesting. They were looking sort of around the neighborhood for a big lot. This one came up. It was a family looking to downsize. Our client just snapped it up. The market's actually really good right now to grab a property. It was very helpful working with yourself and Buildex. When we brought the property forward, the maximum amount of size was just 2,000 square foot units, like you said. Because of your experience as an investor yourself, you kind of helped guide us in terms of most optimized square footage for these units to bring to market. We were able to fit 5 parking spaces as well as the garden suite.
How important was that to you and your client to fit parking, 1 parking per unit?
Well, I think it's interesting. If you look in Toronto, it really depends on where you are. If you're near Transit or the LRT and Eglinton LRT, you can't necessarily.
Yes.
In this case, you need parking, right? We do have a bus stop outside, but to be competitive, you need to include a parking spot.
It was great that you had such a big lot that could allow for that. And another thing was, it was a really clear lot. There are some trees nearby. We could avoid them, the tree protection zones. We didn't need to deal with urban forestry to get them protected or anything like that.
It's very important to have an architect involved early who helped point that out. From a prefab perspective, it does matter in terms of craning potential.
There are challenges both on the design side, the permitting side, the construction side. It's something that you need an experienced architect and general contractor that knows how to navigate those things. If you're looking for a modular design, whether it's a garden suite, multiplex, reach out to us at BuildX Design. You can find us on our website or Instagram, and we'll connect you to Jacob from Metrosuite. It is really a integrated process. You need to understand how to purchase a property specifically for modular, and that starts with not just the design, but thinking about the construction ahead of time. And as you've seen, there's a lot to consider. Reach out to us and we'll make sure that you are set up for success.